Apple is opening a sales region in India on its own. Personally, I can see why. The viewing figures for my channel at the smaller end of the range has shown an increase in my viewership from India. It's now second overall and number one for my shorts. India is a market that is growing in terms of consuming media, and it makes sense that sales of devices to consume that media are also increasing. For Apple, this is a little weird. Though sales went down recently, revenue went up, which means that they can or already are starting to see consumers willing to pay more for their hardware and software products. That was record revenue in the last quarter, even though sales were down 5%. Anyway, I was quite excited about this news and what it might offer to my Indian audience. I suspect that Apple is applying all they learned from when they first ventured into the China market in their attempts to scale this India market. And there are also signs that they are starting to de-risk their global supply chain further away from China. And guess who's getting some of that action? That's right, they're working with Foxconn to set up new iPhone production facilities in India as suppliers move into the region too. Apple and Foxconn have pushed for new labor rules in Karnataka, India, to reduce their use of Chinese manufacturing. The new law there allows two-shift production in India, similar to what they can do in China. The law lets a factory squeeze out more production with two 12-hour shifts. Karnataka, which is a state in India, used to cap shifts at 9 hours. And you can see why. I mean, workers' rights need to be protected in all this too, right? There have been some pretty horrific stories about worker conditions, and I wonder what might happen in India in their quest for more industrial clout, helping Western giants de-risk their China-based manufacturing. It also reduced the limits on nighttime labor for women, who are a major part of production lines elsewhere in the world. India is making the most of companies' shift towards different labor sources due to pandemic causing issues in China. India is due to become the next big manufacturing hub, a government official told the Financial Times. When we compare India with other countries, we have to increase by a big margin our efficiency in terms of increasing the work output. Apple has produced lower-end iPhones in the country since 2017, but has faced issues with quality control and it's been comparatively slow. Now, it came out recently that Foxconn is investing $700 million on a plant just for iPhones in Bengaluru, the biggest city in Karnataka. In January this year, India's trade minister said Apple wants to up its local manufacturing from 5 to 7% to 25%, but didn't say when. Now, at the shareholder event earlier this week, Tim Cook said he sees an incredible amount of opportunity in India and reiterated plans to soon open the company's first store in the nation. Cook talked up growth also in Brazil, Indonesia, and Mexico. Stay tuned for sales and manufacturing resets to the Apple Dominion coming soon. There's more on India in a related story, but from a security standpoint, that could have further downflow effects for other countries like China too. India reportedly wants Apple and other smartphone makers to let users remove pre-installed apps plus screen OS updates, according to Reuters. Smartphone producers have to provide an uninstall option for pre-installed apps due to new rules, and new models will be checked by a lab authorized by the Bureau of Indian Standards Agency to make sure they're compliant, according to people in the know. Apple lets you get rid of some of its own apps, but the main ones like Messages, Photos, and Phone can only be hidden away in the app library, not deleted. The sources in the report said India's IT ministry is looking into the rules because of spying and mishandling user data, and they mentioned the Chinese risk specifically. An unnamed official commented that pre-installed apps could be a weak security point, and they wanted to make sure no foreign countries, such as China, were taking advantage of it. It's a matter of of national security, they said. India has blocked over 300 Chinese apps, such as TikTok, since a clash with China in 2022. Chinese investments have also come under tougher inspection. Now, according to Reuters, who saw government documents, the four companies, Xiaomi, Samsung, Apple, and Vivo, had a private meeting to discuss the plan. Apparently, the government is giving phone companies a year to comply with the regulations when it takes effect, but there's a fear that it could postpone the release of new phones and cause business losses. And here's why. It usually takes around 21 weeks for a smartphone and its parts to get tested by India's IT ministry for safety compliance. That's quite some delay.